No. No. The other day I got a text message from my friend Patrick Kinnison, plays in a band called Heaven Below. I used to play in that band like 15 years ago. We used to play a song called The Mirror Never Lies, and this was a really fun one to play, but it was also a kind of a daunting one because on track we had a keyboard solo and I would double it with guitars. Now, in my mind, maybe I'd pull out a GR1 synth or something like that, but I never actually did that. A lot of things set up during that era. Things weren't quite as easy back then. All that to say, I played this solo that was on track, and if I played it note for note, I was happy. I'd give one of these, but a lot of times I didn't, and there would be problems. Either way, Patrick had asked me, hey, could you do a video of that solo just so I have it and I know what I'm doing with that? And so for the 5 of you who are interested in this kind of thing, maybe even less than 5, maybe it's only me, Pat, and whoever else might be playing this solo, can take a look at it. But then I thought, why don't I just kind of go over why it is the way it is? So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to go over the solo, but I'm also going to go over the decisions that I made and my thought process in crafting this. And I think that could have more value. By the way, today I'm rolling through, if you can see it back there, the VHT Pitbull. Back in the day, that's what I used to play through. I never used any pedals going through, so I'm not using any of the pedals that are up here either. I'm going from there into a Rivera Rock Crusher so that my ears don't get totally blasted out, because if you were to look at these controls over here, it's cranked. And the Rivera Rock Crusher is going out to an Engel 412 loaded with Celestians, mic'd with an SM57, then going into a Shadow Hills mic pre, and that's it. No outboard EQ or anything like that. So just thought I'd talk about the gear. This is a BC Rich Stealth, and it's got some DiMarzios in it. I've never actually looked. Does it say what it is? Does it say what it is? No. Just says made in USA. So at least there's that. Anyway, let's play some guitar. So the riff is essentially this. I'll play the lick. It's... Okay, so we start over here and we play a game of avoid the root. So we got the G minor, but it's the 5 and the 3 that we start off with. And then we move up a position. So we start on the 15th, go to 18th. We move it up on the high E string. We come down here, we do a power chord kind of situation. 13th fret, 15th fret. Then we slide back up to the 18th fret. Octave. Okay. It's that flat 6 kind of shape. So we got 12, 15. Slide it up a minor third, hit this octave here, and then slide that down a minor third, okay? So, it's all pentatonic. I didn't want to have to do too much guitar calculus. I just wanted to keep it simple, and if the notes were spread out enough, then Pat could play his chromatic jobbers, and I could slide around over here on the pentatonic and not have too much, fuss and holler about note conflicts and whatnot. This next lick over here that is also pentatonic, it's just in a different position. So it's this. It's 15th fret, 12th fret, and 10th fret, all on the D string. And then the same pattern just right above it. And then, just like we've done before, we just grab that octave and pull it away. Get out of here. So, Matt. We then come up here to the 18th fret, is it? And we have our way with the pentatonic once again. Getting our money's worth out of the pentatonic. We have one note that deviates from that, and mind you, we're still vamping over the G minor here. Here's the part. I'll play it slow for you. And actually, I probably played it there. It's almost entirely pentatonic. We just have this note here that doesn't really jive with just to give you know, something a little bit of flavor, a little bit of spice. Yeah, if you hang out on this note for too long, this is the G flat then, you're not gonna have a good time, okay? It's just no good. All right, so it's that, and remember, we don't want this. We're still vamping in G minor. We're gonna come over here to this 15th fret right here, and we're gonna bend up from that and then tremolo pick it, and then give it a good shake when we're done with it. And then we're gonna go from there, and we're gonna play what I like to think of as a Phrygian shape, but it's not actually Phrygian. We're G minor, and we're starting on the 5th degree. So we're looking at something like, that's essentially what it is. I'll play it slower even. Those are the notes. Play around with it. You'll figure it out. You'll know what to do with it. So we start all the way up here with the G minor shape, and it's going to start on the 22nd fret of the E string. So we're going to slide down from here, because if you're playing live and your guitar is all the way down here, it's kind of hard to get those guys down there. So instead, let's slide it on over here so it's just a little easier to approach. So we got still in G minor, and in fact we're going to stay on that G minor, and we're just going to continue to outline that particular chord. So we're just going to grab that note that we just slid from the 19th fret down to the 15th fret, and we're going to keep it minor, so we're going to head down onto the D string and hit this 17th fret. And then we're going to slide on down over here to the 12th fret, and we're going to hang out there for a second and just give it a good shake. Right? That puts us in really good position for the next chord. Because I'm not Frank Gambale, it's done with string skipping. That part goes like this. And we just kind of play around with the scale at the very top, waiting for that next chord to show up. And so that's all that is. And that puts us in really good position for the next chord that comes in the sequence, which is a B flat major. And once again, we use the same concept here where, you know, string skipping is better than the Frank Gambale method. Okay, so slowly, here's the lick. So we start on the E, 10th fret, 6th fret. We come down to the G string, cute, and we do 10 and 7th fret. 10th, 7th. And then because, it's major, we grab this major right here that we know we have, a B flat major. And we just kind of move that up because we got to do something with our time. We can't just hang out here. So we slide up here to the G and we kind of play around in this area. And so that's just a kind of major pattern position, but it's played over here. So now that we've slid up to this G with our pinky, we're in really good position for the next chord that comes, which is an F major. So essentially, we're using the same position as we were over here on the B flat. We're just gonna use that over here on the F. Same fingering. So let me show you what I mean. We start on the 17th fret and come down to the 13th. And then we skip a string and we end up on the G string, and it's the 17th and 14th fret. And we can't forget that we're in major, so we end up over here on the D string on the 15th fret. I've opted to do it like so. Now we've come full circle and we're back to this G minor here, okay? So in order to keep that, once again, interesting, well, let's look at what we could do with that. I guess we could make that a minor 7, couldn't we? And that's what I did. We're gonna start on the 10th fret and we're gonna work our way on up. That's the shape. So, next string up, we have 12th fret. Here's our 7, and then the octave. So, then, because we have G minor 7, let's move it up 1 and give it a major 7 shape is kind of how I was thinking of it. I'm sure that you collegiate types would tell me I'm wrong, but that's okay. I can be wrong. It's a B major 7 shape. All right, so we grab this 17th fret, come down to the 13th fret, and it's a major shape that we're using. So we end up over here on the B string. This is the D. This is your B flat here, and we're doing a major 7. So drop the kids off at school, pick them up. Here's that whole portion in sequence, which would just be, this is all over the G minor. So now we go down to a E flat major. And for that, we use that same major shape that we've been using with the string skipping. Okay, so that's all that is. And then, again, to keep things a little bit interesting, we move the position. So we just get a different inversion of the notes. Which I probably shouldn't have done, thinking about it right now, because it puts us in horrible position for the next sequence. So now we have this C minor that we go to, and I'm going to outline it a little bit differently. So in my mind, I'm looking at this like an E flat major 7. So you get this, right? But because it's C minor, and we're outlining that, well, I start over here on the C. We work our way on up. Okay, and then we hang around in the scale up here just a little bit, just a major kind of shape. And then we slide that up to the 18th fret. Is that the 18th? Yeah, that's 18th fret. So that's what we got there. But we're not done with that C minor yet. We still got to hang out and see what happens in this episode of C minor. So we hang around in here and do like a Gary Moore type thing. So that's what we got there. Overall, the whole C minor situation is this. This is where I do something technically wrong. We start over on the F major, and we work on up to a D major with an F sharp in the bass. So I'll play the sequence slowly for you, and then maybe I'll explain why it's not right. So here's what we got for that section. It's and that's going to end the solo. So let me explain this. We start over here on the D string on the 15th fret. Next string up, we're on the 15th. And then we move to the B string up here. And we hit the 18th fret. So it's, you know, it'd be easy to do, or, but no, that's what I chose. That's what the keyboards are doing, so that's what I had to do. And that's probably what it was. I probably wrote it on the keyboards and then had to figure out how to play it on guitar, which is why I have this. And so we give it the same treatment as we gave it before, which is the Gary Moore. I think that's a Gary Moore thing, I'm not sure. But that's just a, you know. It's another game of avoid the root. We got the root right here, but we don't actually even touch that. So we're on the 15th and 16th fret on the B string, and then we go up to the E string, and we do the 15th and 18th. Then move to the next position in sequence, which in my mind is kind of a Lydian style sequence. And that's not how it's being used, but it's being used incorrectly anyway. So we got the 16th fret, the 19th fret, the 18th fret on the E string, 20th fret on the E string now. And then we slide up to the 22nd fret. And I love this shape. And then dragging that down over here to the 11th fret to finish the sequence on the B string. All right, so that gets through the whole solo. Hopefully I can chop this up and make this coherent. Probably not, but I'm gonna try it anyway. I guess I should play this bad boy now. Let's do that. Don't use the wrong fingers. You have enough of them. Don't use the wrong ones.